This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and our FLGS partners, Warpfire Minis and Boutique Bastion. If you're in the US, check out Warpfire Minis for the best stock, deals, and service. In Canada, head to Boutique Bastion to buy, sell, or trade new and secondhand models. Today's battle showcases beautiful thematic dice from Baron of Dice. Grab your own or get a custom set made at baronofdice.com.
Hello and welcome to Season of War. This match of Age of Sigmar was filmed at the Season of War Grand Tournament, which was supported in part by our event sponsors, the Army Painter, Gamer's Grass, and Fenris Workshop. In this Round 3 contest, we have Johnny and his Stormcast Eternals facing off against Mark with the Daughters of Khaine. The mission is the Grasp of Thorns, with 5 points stored for holding one objective, 3 points for controlling at least 2, and 2 points for controlling more objectives than your opponent. Johnny's army was only 2 drops, so he completed deployment first and has chosen to take the first turn. So let's have a look at his list. Ionis Cryptborn headlines the Thunderhead host, while a Lord Celestant carries the Quicksilver Draft to strike first once in the battle, and the heroic trait of Legendary Tenacity, which allows him to ignore death on a 3-up and returns with D3 health. Reinforced units of Dracothian Concussors and Stormstrike Paladors headline the army, while units of Quester Soulsworn, Vanguard Hunters, and 3 more Paladors bring a skirmishing presence, and 2 dependable units of Liberators fill out the force. Ionis starts the game by activating a place of power to make the leftmost objective obscuring, while across the battlefield, the Cauldron fails to do the same. Next, the Warden of Lost Souls banks 2 ritual points after attempting to chant for translocation. Then he performs Sacred Rites and gains another 5 ritual points. On the Daughters of Khaine side, Krathusa uses Magical Intervention for Sacred Rites, and combined with her Crone Seer ability, she generates 5 ritual points. Then the Stormcast begin their movement phase by using At the Double to auto-run the Quester Soulsworn, who are heading towards their quest-marked objective. Responding to their enemies' maneuvers, the Witch Elves redeploy 1 single inch, and the Stormcast end their turn holding 2 objectives, claiming 8 victory points. Then we'll head into Daughters of Khaine turn 1. At the start of their turn, the Cauldron again fails to make the objective obscured with the Place of Power, while Ionis succeeds with the northeastern objective. As the witches plan and prepare, let's take a look at Mark's list. Krathusa the Crone Seer leads the Arena Veterans Force, which will grant their infantry a 5-up ward save in combat before they fight. Standing astride her are a Slaughter Queen on Cauldron of Blood and a Bloodrat Shrine. 2 reinforced units of Sisters of Slaughter carry Bladed Bucklers, while the unit of Witch Elves wields Paired Blades, and 4 units of Canary Lifetakers look to swarm the board with their speed. Beginning Mark's turn, the Bloodrat Shrine fails to cast Mindrazor, but does summon the Bladewind manifestation. Krathusa then chants for Blood Ritual on the lead unit of Sisters of Slaughter, gaining the enhanced effect, so they'll turn off enemy commands, weapon abilities, and reduce ward saves by 1. A totally fair and balanced ability. She then also chants for Scathscale on the same unit, making them -1 to be wounded as well. And the Head Queen on Cauldron of Blood chants for Shadow Step, allowing another unit of Sisters of Slaughter to make a hero phase move. Then the Daughters of Khaine go into their movement phase proper. The last unit to move uses At the Double to auto-run 6 inches. Then the Quester Soulsworn redeploy 5 inches, 1 inch away from claiming the objective. Johnny then attempts a countercharge with his Paladors, but they fail, and the Daughters of Khaine wrap up their turn, scoring 8 points for holding 2 objectives, matching their enemy. Then we're on to priority. Mark wins the roll and opts to give the turn away, so we'll head into Stormcast Eternals turn 2. Johnny starts things off by nominating the Dracothian Concussors for their finest hour, giving them +1 to wound and save. Then Ionis chants for Sacred Rites and Blessed Weapons, getting the enhanced effect and granting an extra attack to all units within 12 inches of him. Crothusa then generates 2 ritual points, and uses Magical Intervention to summon the Heart of Fury, which will emanate an aura that makes Daughters of Khaine units -1 to be wounded in combat. Then, we're on to movement. As their opponent's cavalry rushes in, the front unit of Sisters of Slaughter redeploys, packing tight to force the enemy to engage multiple units. Ionis' Dragon aims its flames at the Khaine, taking just 1 down, but soul burning the unit, causing them to suffer another 2 mortal wounds. The Vanguard Hunters then target another unit of Khaine, but do no damage, while the Concussors take down 4 Sisters of Slaughter. The Stormcast units begin to charge, but when the unit of Paladors tries, they're forced to use Ford to Victory and reroll, to make it in. Then, at the start of combat, the Lord Celestin downs his Quicksilver Draft, though the Concussors fail their Thunderstruck ability. The Cauldron of Blood then grants an extra attack to the rear unit of Sisters of Slaughter, with Orgy of Slaughter. Striking first, the Lord Celestin and Quester Soulsworn take down a unit of Khaine. Then, with all the Daughters of Khaine debuffs, and our players playing the central terrain pieces as impassable obstacles, the Stormcast force only takes down 7 Sisters of Slaughter, though they lose just 1 Palador from the retaliation. The smaller unit of Paladors then powers through, finishing off the Khaine and reinforcing the southeast objective. With that, the Stormcast will complete Scouting Force for having 3 units wholly outside friendly territory, Restless Energy for taking an opponent's objective, and they hold more objectives, scoring a big 20 points. Then let's see how Mark responds as we head into Daughters of Khaine Turn 2. The Bloodwrath Shrine kicks things off by failing to cast Mindrazor. Then Crothusa chants for Blood Ritual onto a unit of Sisters of Slaughter, causing them to turn off enemy weapon abilities in combat. Then she chants for Shadow Step on the other unit for a hero phase move. The Slaughter Queen then uses the Khainite Pendant and gains 6 ritual points, and chants for Exaltation of Murder on the Sisters of Slaughter, granting +1 to wound and attacks. Ionis Cryptborn then goes for a Magical Intervention and chants for Translocation, successfully teleporting the Paladors to safety. Then the Daughters of Khaine will start their movement. Once in position, the Bloodwrath Shrine stares at the Concussors, dealing 9 damage and taking 2 down. Then the Cauldron deals 3 more damage to them, and we're on to charges. In combat, the Witch Elves gain an extra attack, then after 10 minutes of rolling, they take down the Concussors, but suffer 3 mortals in return. With no other engagements, the Daughters of Khaine complete the first step of Scouting Force, and hold 1 objective, scoring 5 points. And then we're on to another priority roll. Johnny wins with a 3 to Mark's 2, but Mark uses his reroll from having more battle formations and chooses to take the double turn. So we'll head into Daughters of Khaine Turn 3. Again starting with Mindrazor, this time the Bloodwrath Shrine gets it off, buffing the Witch Elves with +1 rend and +1 damage on the charge. Then she also casts Steed of Shadows to give them run and charge. Crothusa then chants for Blood Ritual on the Sisters of Slaughter, so they'll turn off enemy commands. And with Stath Scale, the Cauldron will make them -1 to be wounded. Then Crothusa's Exaltation of Murder gives the other unit of Sisters +1 to wound. Lastly, the wounded Sisters of Slaughter rally, returning 7 models thanks to the Zealous Orator heroic trait. But then Ionis uses Magical Intervention and translocates himself away to safety. Heading into movement though, the witches use At the Double and seem to have another target in their sights. Sensing the impending danger, the Paladors redeploy, but only move 1 inch. Then we're on to charges. In combat, the Sisters of Slaughter gain an extra attack from the Slaughter Queen on Cauldron of Blood. Then the Witch Elves use all-out slaughter to attack twice, but don't need it in the end as they take down the Paladors with their first activation. The Liberators then slay 2 Sisters of Slaughter, but are wiped out by their retaliation. And with that, the Daughters of Khaine will store 8 points for holding 2 objectives, and will head into Stormcast Eternals turn 3. Ionis starts things off by banishing the Bladewind, and banks 5 ritual points with Sacred Rites. Then the Paladors use their finest hour for +1 to wound and save. With Crone Seer, Crothusa generates 1 ritual point, then uses Magical Intervention to chant for Blood Ritual, causing the Sisters of Slaughter to turn off enemy weapon abilities in combat. And then at the start of the movement phase, the Stormcast use Heaven's Sent to return the unit of Paladors at half strength. After the Stormcast reposition, the returned Paladors charge in and take out the Heart of Fury. Claiming both objectives in enemy territory, the Stormcast achieve the second step of Restless Energy, and they also complete the second step of Scouting Force, and hold more objectives, scoring 20 points on their turn. Then we're on to Priority, and Mark wins it with a 5, and decides to take the next turn. The Bloodrat Cauldron begins by failing both Mindrazor and Steed of Shadows. Then the priests bless the Sisters of Slaughter with turning off weapon abilities, a hero phase move, and making them -1 to be wounded. Then the Sisters of Slaughter rally and return 4 models, and will head into movement. As the Daughters of Khaine close in, the Liberators redeploy in hopes of protecting their objective. Then the Cauldrons shoot and deal a combined 8 damage to the Paladors, then they charge into combat. Responding to the threats, the Paladors countercharge and engage the Sisters of Slaughter. Then as combat is met, the Sisters of Slaughter use all-out slaughter to fight twice. The Paladors get to strike first on the charge though, but without weapon abilities and suffering -1 to hit and wound, they only deal 1 damage to the Witches. As the fighting progresses, the Witch Elves take out the Liberators, the Cauldrons take out the Paladors, and the Sisters of Slaughter deal 6 damage to the other unit of Paladors. Ending the turn, March scores the second step of Scouting Force for claiming 3 objectives or terrain features in enemy territory, and the first step of Wrathful Cycles for holding more objectives than his opponent, which means he'll score a full 20-point turn. But Johnny still holds onto the lead, and we'll see what he does as we head into Stormcast Eternals turn 4. The Stormcast turn starts with Ionis failing his chant for Bless Weapons and losing 2 ritual points. Then he uses their finest hour for +1 to wound and save, and will head into movement. After movement, the Vanguard Hunters deal 3 damage to the Sisters of Slaughter, and Ionis deals 2 more, while Soulburn inflicts 3 more mortals. The Stormcast units then charge into combat, and the Witch Elves countercharge to join them. Then Ionis starts the fighting by slaying 3 Sisters of Slaughter. As the fighting continues, the Witch Elves take down the Paladors, though little more damage is dealt, and as the dust settles, the Stormcast fail to reclaim the objective, but will achieve the third step of Scouting Force to score 10 points. Then onto the priority roll. Johnny wins and decides to take the turn, so we'll head into Stormcast Eternals turn 5. With little left in question, the players decide to talk out the round, and Johnny will score just 5 points on his turn for holding 1 objective. Heading into the Daughters of Khaine turn, I think our players forgot that Johnny would have still been the underdog if he'd given away the turn, because of Mark's earlier double in round 3, which would have locked out his ability to score the second step of Wrathful Cycles. With Johnny taking the turn though, it's unlocked Mark's ability to store 20 points. And with the third step of Scouting Force easily done, the only question would be getting enough units in combat for the second step of Wrathful Cycles. Though our players felt it would be easily done with the Daughters of Khaine speed, and they'd be able to hold onto the top right objective to store 20 points and sneak a narrow minor victory. Unfortunately, the round was ending and there was no time left on the clock, but I would have loved to see the final turn played out, as an unlucky roll on a prayer could have seen Mark score only 15 points. I think both of our competitors played a great game, and Johnny fought hard to take a big lead in points, and it was sad to see it slip away at the end as he tried to hold on. The Daughters of Khaine are a strong army though, and Mark is a great pilot of them, and this win puts him at 3 wins with no losses, and very much in the hunt for prizes heading into the second day of the tournament. With that, we do want to say a big thank you to our event sponsors, the Army Painter, Damer's Grass, and Fenris Workshop for their support, as well as our channel members who make all our content possible. If you want to catch the second round of the GT, the match is already live and you can access it immediately by joining our channel membership on YouTube. And we'll have round 4 coming early next week. Regardless, thanks to everyone for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again soon in another battle report.